Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Wilderness Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Rob Minturn, owner of Wilderness Physical Therapy. Today, I'm joined by Kim Palmer Nix, owner, founder of Spear Strength Wellness out in Oregon. The way that we met is kind of I knew someone, you knew someone, we knew someone, sort of like that. Why don't you introduce yourself, how we met, and then your education background?
Yeah. So how we met, it was pretty similar to what you just said. It was a friend of a friend of a friend. So I got the opportunity to go to her outdoor journey archery camp out in Hoodoo, uh, a mountain here in Oregon. And our mutual friend, Mel Epic, we got to talking and she told me that I had to meet you. And we had that you and I had very similar outlooks on health, on nutrition, on wanting to get more women in the outdoors and enjoy the outdoors. And so that was the connection. So I looked you up and I slid into your DMs.
Yeah, she's an awesome person. Courtney's awesome. I've known Mel for a little bit longer, but both Courtney and Mel are awesome people. So it's crazy how small the hunting industry is and the hunting world is, but you never know who you're going to run into.
Absolutely. And if it's women like them, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, they're awesome, awesome people. Your education. So you've got some certifications. And I know you went to the University of Texas, which is very unfortunate. Go
Welcome.
Buckeyes. But um, what's your education background? And then kind of let's go through some of your certifications and all that a little bit so people know the background of Spear Strength.
I went to the University of Texas at Austin, hook 'em horns. So graduated with a kinesiology and health promotion bachelor's. Did my own thing in Austin 4 years. So I lived in Austin for 8 years, four in school, four owning a prior business, and then what brought me up to the Pacific Northwest was I thought that I wanted to go to chiropractic school, and I was young and dumb and listen to everybody saying that, oh, like personal training isn't a real career. You can't do that. That's just a stepping stone to physical therapy or to chiropractic or to, something else. And again, being young and dumb, I was like, oh, well, okay, never thought of it that way. But if I can't make a career out of it, I'm sure as hell going to find something that will.
Right.
And came up to Oregon because the chiropractic school at the time had a full cadaver lab, meaning I got to work on cadavers, which was awesome. I'm very, very blessed to have done that. And it just allowed me to really understand the body more. But halfway through the program, I was like, nope, this isn't for me. I'm going to make personal training a career. I did graduate with a bachelor's in human biology from that school from the University of Western States. So got two bachelors under my belt. And then yeah, the certifications, the majority of them are through NASM. So I have the certificate for personal training, the certificate for a nutrition coach, for behavior change wellness, all of the certifications that I do have all are pointing to women's health.
So what led to Spear Strength?
So in Spear Strength, after I left chiropractic school, I needed a job. And so personal training is the only thing that I knew. And so I applied to a hospital, OHSU, that had a gym integrated within it. Sounds awesome. Implementation is mild. I applied there, got my job, was great. And then 2020 hit and I couldn't train in person anymore, right? The whole world shut down and I was like, well, now what? And that really allowed me to start Spear Strength Wellness, which is an online strength and nutrition business. And I really fell in love with the online space because I get to help more women all over the nation, and I don't have to be stuck in a gym for 15 hours a day. Like, I can actually go out, enjoy the things that I love to do, like hunting, hiking, kayaking, fishing, all of those things. Like, I got the opportunity to actually preach, I guess, do what I preach, right? And so that was really cool, really eye-opening.
That's the beauty of the online world, is that you can reach out to many people, and you don't have to be stuck in one facility. Like, you can go to your office that you're in right now. You can go on vacation or someplace cool on a hunting trip and see clients before you go pack in for a week or whatever you want to do. Yeah. The online space is nice. So what is Spear Strength?
So Spear Strength is is an online strength and nutrition, I guess, coaching platform, if you will. It's just me. I'm the only coach, and my sister does help out with admin stuff, so I'm very thankful for her. It's geared towards women who want to continue doing adventures well into their 80s and 90s, right? And so I don't think that age should be a limiter or should be a factor. And my slogan is live your adventure. Don't just talk about it, right? Truly live your adventure. Well, how do you do that? You have to be healthy in order to actually go out and live your adventure. There's so much talk around, oh, like someday I'm going to do this, someday I'm going to do that. And people don't actually get around to doing it. So go do it, right? What is stopping you?
Right.
And so that's kind of my push of my clients, like, hey, I'm giving you nutrition, you're getting healthier, you're building a healthy lifestyle, you're strong, you're fit, go do the thing that you want to do, right? So that's really the driving force behind Spear Strength.
I think that's why Mel said that we got to talk, because I'm the same. Stop talking about it and go do it. I've got patients on this travel contract that I'm at here in Wyoming right now. Never been to Yosemite, or sorry, Yellowstone. I've had patients that are well into their 80s. And when I was working in Fresno, California, that had never been to Yosemite. Yosemite was 2 hours away. I'm like, well, what are you doing? You have people all over the world coming to California, flying to California to go to this park, and it's 2 hours. It's in your backyard, and you have never been up there. And I'm, you're crazy. You're crazy. With the female focused niche, what are your three, like, what are your top aspects with your programming? Because you've been doing this since 2020. Yeah.
I've been a coach since 2012, but Spear Strength has been since 2020.
Okay. So with spirit, like with niching down to the female population, to the women
Mhm.
in the outdoors, with your programming, with your coaching, what are the three aspects that you find yourself repeating to most every woman?
Lifestyle, strength, and mindset. And the big thing with that is I find that the majority of women, like the majority of the badass women that I get to work with, we still have this insecurity of, oh, I need to be cocaine thin and continue to do the things that I love to do, right? It's a thing.
What? Cocaine thin. I like that.
Yeah. So, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so not true. Like embracing and that, yeah. So embracing who you are and what your body does, how your body is shaped, right? So that is the big thing when it comes to mindset, and especially with food too. Food, weights, mindset is a huge part of it, because there's this myth, right, that, oh, if you lift too heavy, you're going to get bulky. No, like ask every scrawny dude who's trying to get big. Like they work their asses off, right? Or their butts off. Sorry, I don't know if you cuss
Uh,
on the podcast.
Trying to cuss. Just don't drop the F bomb, but you're trying to cuss.
Okay, sorry.
And if you drop the F bomb, I'll just edit it out. Not a big deal.
Okay, perfect. Um, so mindset, yeah, that's a big part, because if you ask any scrawny dude who's looking to get big, he'll tell you that no, it's way harder than you think. And women look at 15-pound weights and think they're going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're not, right? So pushing them to pick up the 15, the 20, the 30s, the 50-pound dumbbells and lift some freaking weight. I say it a lot more gentler than what I just did, but it is that mindset of getting over that hurdle, right? And strength does come into a part of that. And my theory, I don't know if it's true, this is just my BS theory, right? Women have a history of osteoporosis more so than men, right? That can be due to hormones, absolutely. But also, I think it has a lot to do with muscle as well, right? So women don't have as much muscle as men. It's just that's just how it is, right?
Right.
And
Well,
so if you are lifting more weights, you're going to Wolf's Law, right? You're going to put more of an emphasis on those tendons that are actually connecting to the bones, which then forces the bone to become stronger at those attachment points and reduces the percentage for osteoporosis. Like, it makes sense to me. Again, that's my theory. That's not, I haven't seen any studies or whatnot, but yeah, strength is a huge part of it. And I think strength keeps you independent longer, right? It helps you age gracefully. Muscle is the organ of longevity. It is. And so muscle is the organ of longevity, and that's what's going to keep you spry in your late 80s and 90s. All right. And then with lifestyle, so the third aspect of that, we need to stop with this yo-yo dieting, right? Because you're just going to continue to mess yourself up, mess your body up, and which will again feed into the mindset. But I coach the big five, which is you track your food, you hit your calories and your protein, you move your body every day for 45 minutes. And that looks different for everybody. That could be going for a walk, it could be going for a hike, a run, you could be lifting weights. Just move your body, right? Drink your water and prioritize your sleep. Those five things. It sounds simple and you're like, "No, it's too easy for it to work." But it does.
mhm.
And yet, like, simple doesn't mean easy. Keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. And that's with your big five, that's what it is. Like, it's simple, but you touch on it does not mean easy. With your kinesiology background, and those of you who don't know what kinesiology is, it's the study of the human body, the movement of the human body. Um, with that, like, how do you utilize that with your programming? Because you can be a coach, a fitness coach, you can be a wellness coach, you can be a personal trainer and not have a kinesiology degree.
Mhm.
How do you use your kinesiology degree with your exercise programming with your women?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I get to work with some badass women who love the outdoors. I have a gal who's training for her first 14er. And then she's gonna do the Colorado Trail, the through hike. So I'm pumped for her. I have anglers, I have hunters, bow hunters, and rifle hunters. Um, and the where kinesiology comes into play is so this is how I do it. For an angler, right? You are a fly fisher, okay? Fly fisherman, fly fisher woman. Anyways, you choose a fly rod as your weapon, right? And okay, break down the movement. And so in my head, I am breaking down every movement that the body has to go through. So okay, from the feet up, what are the feet doing? Well, they're planted on probably an uneven surface with a current. So, okay, so now we're planted in on rocks or moss, maybe even like that weird slimy mud. All right, so you're planted in there. You're trying to keep your foothold while also having to fight against a current, and with your torso twisting and all that with the cast, with your arm movement, bringing in your other arm, trying to strip the line. So all of those movements come into play. And so, okay, how can I break that, like those movements down, and how can I make those movements more fluid and even better, stronger? And okay, let's do that for the other side, right? We have the smart side, right? So your dominant hand, and then we have the dumb side, right? That can't really do anything. So it's just there for decoration. Well, how can we even that side out so that you aren't with this imbalance of side to side, like muscle imbalance, essentially? So yeah, I'm very thankful that I have my kinesiology degree because I can break down, and because of the cadaver lab, I can mentally peel away the layers of muscles and actually go down to the joints. How are they stabilized? What muscles are stabilizing those? What muscles are working? What muscles are not working? What are turned on? What are turned off? And being able to complete a comprehensive program to help supplement my client's adventure.
That was perfect. I mean, that's exactly it. Biomechanics, kinesiology, like you have the knowledge to know how the joint is moving, to know what muscles are pushing or pulling. All muscles pull, but what muscles are stabilizing and what muscles are generating more force, and that you can manipulate the weight, the position of the weight, and all of that to get the production that you want to get. Moving on to training with uh, menstruation. We talked about this before we started recording. Factors that go into the hormone side of things for women. I will never be a woman. I will never be pregnant. I don't know how that works. The only knowledge I get is through clinical experience and books. I don't have that self experience. So, what recommendations do you have through your own experience as a woman, but also through your experience as a coach? What do you have for suggestions there with during menstruation?
I personally like to coach by feel because every woman is different. We all go through, uh, yes, we all go through the ebb and flows of our cycle of menstruation, right? To the luteal phase, follicular phase, and then menstruation and all of that, right? So we all go through those. And every woman is different. So every woman's cycle is different. Some women have some major cramps that are debilitating, and they cannot move. Their energy completely tanks, and you're lucky if they're able to get up and think. That might be a slight exaggeration, but there are some women out there like that. And whenever that does come into play, like I like to coach feel over numbers, even though numbers are important. All right. So numbers shouldn't be ignored as far as, progressive overload and if you're wanting to get to a certain goal. But also, if you're not sleeping well because you're having awful cramps and it's keeping you up, you can't sit up straight because of the cramps, then okay, yeah, we're going to scale back a little bit. And as a whole, for the majority of women that I've coached, the week before their cycle, they feel like superwoman. All right, they can lift heavy. This is the time for PRs. Let's go. And that's also where, testosterone inside women are at its highest. And so we're feeling good. And then everything comes crashing down and our energy levels tank. We feel like Free Willy, right? We feel like a whale and like, oh my gosh, I can't lift as much weight as I did last week. The scale went up. I'm bloated. What is going on? And everything just feels like it's spinning down a toilet bowl. And I like to take a step back and you're like, okay, that's all right. You may feel like crap, but remember, where are you on your cycle? Like, women should be comparing their cycles from like last month's cycle of like week 2 of last month to current month of week 2. Where are you in that? Because our cycles do ebb and flow. Our body weight fluctuates a lot around our cycle. So all of that, yeah, all of that being said is take a step back. whenever you are on your cycle, pay attention to what your body is doing. And I feel like there is such a big disassociation with women and their cycles. Like we really don't understand it because what if you've been on birth control or not, relearning your cycle and how your body responds within those hormones around your cycle, it's crazy. It's nuts. Like really paying attention. And then you can start to pick up signs. You're like, oh, this is why, like, I'm starting to be really, really short, really snippy. Okay, where am I in the month? Oh, okay, here we go. And like, oh man, I just feel fat. I'm criticizing myself and I do not feel good about myself. Where are you in your cycle? Oh, yeah, I'm bloated and I'm about to start my period. Okay, I'm not fat. It's fine. I didn't gain 5 pounds overnight. It's okay. That's how I like to go about it. Every woman is different. Everybody's going to respond differently to their cycle. Some are going to have energy, some aren't. And you should train according to that. So, really paying attention to your body and what it does.
So you've got some freebie stuff, or I know of one thing that you have for little freebie here
Mhm.
because I took a look at it. You just launched it 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah, 2 weeks
And
ago.
so what do you have for, let's talk about the hump prep guide and some other things that you have, because I know you have some other free things for people to get to know you and trust you. The hump prep guide. Walk me
All
through
right.
that because I took a look at the programming and all of that. So walk me through your like what that's all about.
The hump prep guide, hump prep ebook. I mean, it's a free ebook based around your bare basics of health and fitness, getting ready for your hunting, right? For your hunt trips. I program this specifically for people who need or who have minimal equipment. I'm talking like all you need is dumbbells and a bench. If you don't have a bench and you have a box, awesome. If you don't have a bench or a box, you can use a Yeti cooler. All right. So, like, bare minimum things that you can do this workout around. That's kind of highlighting one of my favorite things of being an online coach is it doesn't matter where the gal is, right? If like where her environment is, what equipment she has, what space she has, I'm able to come up with a workout designed specifically for her.
Mhm.
And that forces me to be creative, which is a lot of fun. But that Hump Prep e-guide has 4 weeks of just basic workouts that anybody can do if you have dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, please go to your like big five resale sporting goods and buy like 15-pound dumbbells. Everybody needs at least one pair of dumbbells. And then I touch on some basic nutrition. So, like, what are macros? What are calories? What are they made up of? And talking about the importance of proteins, carbs, and fats, especially fueling yourself for the outdoors. And then I put together a checklist of for specifically for bow hunters, just a checklist of gear. The reason behind this is because I see a lot of checklists that don't necessarily highlight like women's hygiene because we need a few extra things in the backcountry for our hygiene. So I made sure to put an emphasis on that
I
because
I noticed that because I was reading the list. I was like, I didn't even think of that stuff.
yeah.
Again, I'm a
Yeah,
dude. Like I don't have to think about that stuff.
so it's yeah, it's funny. So I made sure to highlight that because I'm the person who will forget that stuff.
If you're listening to this, go check out that hump prep. It's free. It's super easy to download. What do you do a newsletter? Do you do you have a Facebook group? Because you and I did a thing for your Facebook group. What else
Yeah.
what other things do people have for resources from you?
Oh yeah. So there's a, private Facebook group in the Spear Strength Facebook group or Team Spear. It's just a ton of knowledge, right? I mean, we talked about this, right? The giving people knowledge to really understand their bodies of how to move, how to fuel, will make them so much more successful for the long run for their lifestyle rather than just following a checklist, right? Once you understand it, like knowledge is power, and then actually putting that knowledge to test and actually doing it, not just hoarding it, but actually doing the knowledge, that's where real life changes. And so there's, exercise breakdowns, there's recipes, there's educational videos, one that you and I did. And then I talk about understanding your cycle, menopause, stuff like that. I do have a newsletter. So it's a free newsletter, again, highlighting basic things: calories, nutrition, workouts, stress, sleep, hydration, all of those things. So right to your inbox.
Yeah, so definitely check out the resources that Kim has. If folks want to follow you or get a hold of you, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Instagram is fantastic. I also post a lot of educational content on my Instagram too. So free education everywhere. The best way to get a hold of me is via my Instagram. You can slide into my DMs. Just don't be a creepo. Uh, it's
Saying
at
that like you've had issues with that in the past.
I have. I have. But my Instagram is Spear Strength Wellness. My email is spearstrengthwellness at Gmail. My website is Spear Strength Wellness. It's pretty all streamlined. Try to keep it simple.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your Tuesday afternoon here to talk. And if you guys have any questions for Kim, definitely reach out to her, get signed up for her hump prep guide, take a look at how she programs, Facebook group, newsletter, all that stuff. More information that you have, the better. Kim, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Wilderness Fitness Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please head over to your podcast app and consider leaving a review. If you think a friend or a family member may benefit from listening to this podcast, please consider sharing this episode with them. We appreciate your help in the growth of this podcast. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram for even more content and the weekly Hump Day Q&A, where you can get all of your human performance, rehab, women's health, and injury prevention questions answered. If you're interested in getting hooked up with even more content from Wilderness PT from the comfort of your own home, head over to wildernessphysicaltherapy.com and get signed up for the Spike Camp membership. This is where you'll have access to prior seminars and a workout that'll have you in shape each fall, designed by yours truly. Since you're there, check out the mid-month media newsletter that goes out 1 to 2 times a month, which includes a variety of topics with the most recent research on health and human performance. You can sign up by hovering over the free resources section and subscribe to any of the free guides, or simply sign up under the mid-month media newsletter tab.